Hey there, Heather. Ho, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to yet another in the pocket bowling thing. We're doing the 1991 tournament and see if we can go to 16 teams without somebody getting a perfect score of 300 like Walter Ray Williams did, and basically having everything go for whatever it is. So anyway, we have the 91. We're down to 8 guys. Walter Ray is in the 91 set, but because he's a top two, just like Schaefer, he cannot compete. And this thing wouldn't be fair. So we have David Ferraro versus Pete Weber. Pete Weber 215, Ferraro 219 bowler. Of course, this is the same Pete Weber who said, that's right, who do you think you are? I am. But anyway, Ferraro, first bowl is a 6-1-1. That's an 8. A 6-1-1 on his card's an 8 with an open frame of 9. Weber throws a 6-1-4. That's 11. That's a strike. Second frame, Weaver throws a 2-6-4. That's 12, that's a strike as well. Ferraro throws a 1-6-2, that's a 9, that's not a strike. Ferraro third frame, 1-1-5, that's a 7, that's the 5-1-1, so that's an open frame for Ferraro. Weber throws a 1-3-1, he throws an open frame as well, but he's still up by 20. Fourth frame. Weaver throws a 4-6-6, that's an open frame. Unfortunately, a pair 6 means back one frame, which means his fourth frame score is his third frame score, which was the open frame. Ferraro with an opening. 5-5-3, that's back 2 frames. That's a spare. 13 would be a strike, but pair 5 back 2 frames. So his fourth frame score is what he scored in the second frame, which was 9 and a spare. 5. Ferraro throws a 1-3-3, that's a 7 and a split, a spare. Weber throws a 2-1-6, that's a spare, working off of a spare on the 6th. He throws a 1-4-4, so that's 9 for 19 points on 5. Ferraro throws a 4-1-5, that's a K on the board. He's only down by 11. On 7. He throws a 6-1-5, that's 12. That's a strike. Pete Weaver throws a 3-1-5, that's a spare. So he's losing his touch. Weaver on 8 throws a 5-4-1, that's a strike. That's 10 points. Well, that's a 10. And a 20 points on 7. Ferraro will throw 1-5-2, that's a spare. He's only down by 2 after 7 frames, but he has a spare to work off of. Weaver has a strike. Ferraro throws a 5-3-6, that's 14, that's a K on the board. Weaver throws a 6-1-5, that's a strike. Ferraro will have to throw because he's last. Yep. Ferraro throws a 1-1-6, that's an 8, and then he has an open frame. So Weaver, I think a spare would be safe. A 2-5, back 2 frames, which is the 8th frame, that's a strike, and that is the game over, and Weber wins. And he throws 5-2-1. He'll throw a spare for 20 points. That's 200. So he reached the 200 mark. Not the highest score. Remember, scoring does matter. So Ferraro loses 200 to 168. So Pete Weber will move on to the next round. Next up, Eric Forgel and Norm Duke will go toe-to-toe. Forgel at 217 and a lefty. Norm Duke 216. I know he played in the 2007 thing and lost to Wallenbecker, but you can continue. You don't have to. You just have to not be top 2. Forkel throws a 3-3-4. His first frame. That's 10. That's a strike. Duke throws a 6-1-3. That's 10. That's a strike on his card too. Duke throws a 5-4-2. That's an 11. That's a K on the board. Forkel throws a 1-5-4. That's 10. That's a strike. On 3. He throws a 3-1-3. That's 7. That's a spare. Duke throws a 3-6-3. That's a 12. And that's a strike. So he's got the turkey gobble gobble. Fourth frame. Throws a 2-3-4. That's a spare. Oof. Forco throws a 1-4-1. That's a 9 plus. A 4-1-1. Good thing. No combination of 6 that would have hurt him. Fifth frame. He throws a 2-1-6. That's a 9. That's a spare. Duke throws a 3-5-2. That's a K on the board. He's up by 14 through 4. On to 6. He throws a 3-1-1, which is a spare. If it was 5 points any other way, it would be an open frame. Forco throws a 1-6-4. That's a strike. That's 11 points. So he's down by 14 halfway through. On 7. He throws 6-6-5. That's a strike. That's 17. I know it's 10 to 15 is a strike, but double sixes. Back one frame, so that his 7-frame score is the 6-frame score, which is a strike. Duke throws a 3-2-1, and that's a spit, and that's an open frame. That might kill him. Metaphorically, of course. A spare for Duke on 8. Forco throws a 2-2-6. That's 10. That's a turkey. Gobble, gobble. On 9. He throws a 2-2-5. That's a spare with 9 points. So 184 through 8. Duke throws a 1-1-4. That's a strike. Anything else was an open frame and game over. Well, he's got a strike to work off of. On 10. He goes triple fives, but that's 3 of a kind, so that's a spare, and then his next ball will land 10, so 206. So Forco needs a spare. He throws a 3-6-6, and that's game. So Norm Duke throws a 206, more than Pete Weber, but he's going to lose because winners move on. Forco will throw a strike on his last ball and throw a 223. Great score. Forco defeats Norm Duke and we'll move on to the next round. And then next we have Besby versus Parker Bone. I don't know who. Live Ron Williams. I don't know who he'll face. Besby a 216, Parker Bone a lefty 217. He's an icon. He beat Hagen. Yeah, he beat Hagen, but could not compete in the second round because of that 300 score from Walter Ray. Besby, his first ball is a 1-6-5. That's a 12. That's a strike. Parker throws a 5-4-5. That's a 9. They decide to give him the 7-2. I don't know why. Parker throws a 2-2-4. That's a spare. Besby throws a 6-3-4. That's 13. That's a K. On 3, he throws a 3-5-6. That's 14. That's a strike. Parker throws a triple fives, 3 of a kind. That's a spare instead of a strike. On 4, he throws a 4-1-5. That's 10. That's a K. Besby throws a 6-4-1, 11. That's a strike. 4-pack. On 5, he throws 4-6-6. That's a strike. I know that's 16. That's high, but because the pair of sixes is back one frame and he's been doing those marks. Bone throws a 2-2-4, so that's a spare. 67 through 4. On 6, he throws a 6-6-4. That's 16, but pair of sixes means whatever his 6-frame score is his 5th-frame score. And that's what it is. Besby throws a triple sixes, which killed him. Anything but 3 of a kind. So he was looking pretty good. Now he'll have to lay with a score of 145 through 6. On the 7, it's a 1-1-2. He botched it out of the pocket chart. Parker Bone throws a 1-2-4 spare. Well, Besby's got an open frame. Parker throws a 5-4-6. That's 15. That's a K. Besby throws a 1-6-6. Oh, man. Double six is back one frame. But they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and give it to the 6th frame. So he has another open frame. Oh, my God. You get 5 straight strikes, and then now you've done nothing. A 1-3-3, that's a spare. Parker throws a 4-3-4. That's a strike. He's got a lot to work off of. Throws the ball. 5-6. Pair of sixes, back one frame. That's a strike. Next ball is a 2-4-6. That's a strike. He might strike out. He does strike out at 2-12. So Parker Bone throws 5 straight strikes in a row. Besby started off with 5 straight strikes. So now Besby, he still has a chance. 4-3-1, that's going to be the icing on the cake, and Besby is gone. He'll throw 7 for 196. That is definitely not enough. And the 212 by Parker Bone. Man, that pathetic throw on 7. He was up by 30 after 7, and then, of course, he had to go off of that open frame. Yeah, 3 straight open frames. That'll kill you. And Parker Bone puts up 5 straight strikes, wins the match 212-196. So now we got our final matchup. Ron Williams will go again. will go up against Ken Moscato. So Moscato. So Moscato has been randomly selected to take on Ron Williams. Moscato is a lefty. Why did I not put his picture up? Anyway, Moscato throws a 4-2-1 for a spare. Williams throws 6-5-4. That's a K. That's 15. That's a strike. On two, he throws a 5-3-4. That's a strike. That's 12. Moscato throws a 3-3-1. That's another 7-pin spare. On three, he throws a 5-4-2. That's a K. There's 11 points. Williams throws a 1-5-5. Pair of fives back two frames. First frame was a strike. Everything's a strike. 11 points. On four, he throws a 4-5-5. Back two frames, but everything has been a strike, so that's a strike. Oh, yes, I had turkey. Gobble, gobble. Moscato throws a 3-4-6. That's 13. That's a strike. On five, he throws 2-4-6. Hey, who do we appreciate? That's strike. And a turkey. Gobble, gobble. Williams throws a 3-4-6. That's 13. That's a strike. On six, he throws a 2-6. Well, he's been striking every frame, so that's why he got the strike. Moscato throws a 2-2-3, which is not good. 114 through 5, but we'll see what happens. On 7, Moscato throws a 3-5-1. That's a 9-pin spare. Williams throws a 1-1-2. Oh, man, he botched it. He throws a 5-4, 173. It's an open frame. Williams, 1-6-5, a strike. Moscato throws a 4-3-2-1. 4-3-2-1. That's a spare. On 9, he throws a 1-2-2. That's a strike. And the 5 points, that's a strike. Nice strike. Williams throws a 1-6-2. That's a spare. I think they're gonna let him. Yeah, Williams will throw on 10. 4-2-6. That's a strike. Next is 1-6-1. That is an 8, and he lets one pin up. 232. So Moscato, I think, has to strike completely out, and that's a strike. That's a strike. Oh my God! If he strikes, we're tied. We have a tie. No. If he had struck, it would have been 232, 232. Somehow, in some way, we would have had a tie. That is going to be the worst way to lose. You needed to strike to tie, Williams, and we would have had to have a rematch. We would have had to have a tie break. Williams started off with 6 straight strikes. Then had that bad frame. But fortunately for him, Moscato could not get the strike. He survives by 3 pins. He scratched and clawed that one out of the booth. So that means I'm going to win with Pete Weber. So Moser, right? So we got to do some math here. So Weber will face Moser because Moser's had the highest winning score, 278. Weber 200. Wayne Webb is next. He's had 204, so he's next. Who had the next best score? 257. That's Ballard. So Webb will face Ballard. Well, Steel Smith only won by one. Who's next? At 212. So Bone's 212 is the next lowest. Bone will go there, and Steel Smith will face Bone. Yeah, Steel Smith will face Bone because Steel Smith had the third highest score, winning score. Bone had the third lowest score. Winning score. Westlake will go 213. And 251 for Branham. Yeah, Branham will face Westlake in the next round. So that's 8 up. Actually, I need to circle because then I see what scores have been touched and what has not been touched. 223, Forco. So Forco, 223, what's the next? 243, Gable. And so Gable will face Forco in the battle of the EL suffixes. 229 is Palumbi. So Palumbi will go into matchup number 6, and he will face the highs, right? 235, and that's Couch. So Palumbi will face Couch. Monticelli will go. Monticelli is in matchup 7. He had the next lowest score, 225. He will face Arnold, who had 234. So it's Monticelli Arnold. And then it will be Ron Williams will face off against Solons in the next round. So we got it resolved by scores. And of course, the scores don't really carry. And it's just what your round of 16 score is will tell you who your quarterfinal opponent will be. And then we'll be down to 2 for the best of 7 championships, like Schaefer versus Walter Ray. So that's what we'll get. And then we'll have some fun next time. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.